This is WVUA Law Call.
The struggling economy is a top concern of just about everybody these days, and maybe you're finding yourself a victim of the down economy. Maybe you've lost your job, or maybe you've got some bills that you just can't keep up with, and maybe you need some immediate relief, and you're considering that in the form of bankruptcy. But that opens up a whole host of other questions, like, is it right for you? Will it ruin your credit forever? Is it complicated, and do you qualify? That's just a few of the questions, not to mention the hundreds of others you might be thinking about if you're thinking about bankruptcy. Well, if that's the case, then tonight's show is for you. We've got some attorneys here who are going to take your questions live. All you have to do is pick up that phone, give them a call. They are here for you, and they are waiting on your questions. Our number is 205-348-WVUA, 205-348-9882. Also, you can email in those questions to lawcall@wvua7.com. We will not do our on-air email segment tonight, but that's all right. Go ahead. If you have an email question, send it in to get an answer just the same. So we're going to give you a moment to get those calls in while we let you know what's coming up in the next few weeks here on WVUA Law Call. Next week is February 5th. Traffic accidents, they happen to the best of us. Unfortunately, they can turn very serious and very troublesome in the legal area. Then on February 12th, just in time for Valentine's Day, Love and the Law, we will be talking about family law, something that applies to so many folks out there, whether it's child custody, child support, and divorce. It touches so many lives. That's a great show, very informative on February 12th. Then on February 19th, Hurt on the Job, another one where you don't want to find yourself without a job and without your source of income in this tough economy. Bob, nice to have you here. We had Matt Glover in your seat a week ago.
That's what I heard.
How'd he do? I have a very good report on Matt. He did a great job. So
always does. He's great.
We did miss you. What have you had going on lately, Bob?
Oh, well, of course, last week I was helping swear in the president.
You were. You were his special assistant, weren't you?
Right.
I didn't quite see you up there with it. You might have been cut out of the frame just a little bit.
I was the one with the hood and the wrapped up.
Freezing? So, okay, you have to give us a first-hand account of what the weather was like, because it
really
looked miserable.
It was really cold. The wind, Terry, would just cut you. You know, I've heard that before, and I experienced it.
Well, we had a few reporters from our station up there, and they had a wonderful time, really enjoyed covering it, but there were a few moments they told me that they thought, all right, why am I out here?
Right.
Why am I not watching this in Alabama in the heat in a warm area? But I know it was just the experience of a lifetime, and those pictures of so many people out there, it was amazing.
It was 1.8 million.
Gosh, well, you got a chance to be a part of history.
That's right.
And we're certainly glad you're back here with us. And you even did a phone report for our 10 o'clock news on Inauguration Night, and I thought it was excellent.
Well, thank you.
So you could have a job in reporting.
It's easy to do with Claire.
Well,
I mean, she just was great.
Well, good. Well, we're glad to have a good report on Claire, and she sure is great. So, Bob, before we get to bankruptcy, because this is something that so many folks out there are probably thinking about, unfortunately, we have a photo to show. Tell us a little bit about the photo.
Okay. This is a product liability situation that you wouldn't think about too much, Terry. This is a battery out of a cell phone. You know, we all have cell phones. And this Chinese welder had his cell phone in his pocket, and the battery exploded. Oh, my goodness. It was a defective battery, and unfortunately, it was a fatality. He did not survive it.
That's amazing.
That
That's
is
a
amazing.
very sad story, and looking at that picture, I had no idea
you
that's
just don't
where that
think
story
of
was going to go.
something like a battery being a product that could injure you, but any type of product can injure you.
Well, and when you've had an accident, a car accident, or any other type of accident, you may think you have a situation with the other driver, with your insurance company, but it might actually be that product that you were using, a vehicle or something else.
If it's defective in either the manufacturer or the making of it, the design or the making of it, they can be held liable if they're negligent.
All right, very interesting, and a sad story, but a good point. Hopefully folks at home can learn from that. All right, tonight we are talking about bankruptcy, and I can imagine that bankruptcy attorneys out there, this is a busy time for them with what's going on currently in our economy.
And my firm does not do bankruptcy. We do personal injury. So when I saw the show, I naturally wanted somebody that would probably be the best if we took a poll of all the lawyers. I can't say that for sure because I haven't taken a poll, but Robert Morgan's with us tonight, and he is an excellent, excellent bankruptcy lawyer.
Now, when do I pay you for saying that?
Oh, exactly. Well, you know, it's not just me saying it. Of all the lawyers that practice over in the bankruptcy court, Robert is one of 2 standing trustees. The other one's in Birmingham, so that should tell you something, Terry, and for the audience. Robert practices right here in Tuscaloosa, 2918 7th Street. He went to the University of Alabama, got his undergraduate degree here in '82, so he's sort of a local boy by now. He went to law school here, graduated in '84, and set out to practice law, and he's done an excellent job. He's now teaches at the law school. He teaches bankruptcy there. He practices in the bankruptcy court. During his spare time, he's been the president of the Friends of WAL. He is president of the Tuscaloosa Symphony. He's been on the Exchange Club. I mean, he's very active. He's very knowledgeable, and I can't wait to hear the callers ask him the bankruptcy questions because he can deliver.
Well, and that's a great introduction, and we certainly are glad to have Robert here tonight to answer these questions about a really complex area of the law. I've learned that just from the law call shows that we've done. It is very complex. It's very tricky, and it's one of those things that people need to know about. And I can tell there's a lot of questions about it because our phone lines are filling up. Let's go ahead and get to those calls. Up first tonight is Jane calling us from Tuscaloosa. Hi, Jane.
Hey, how are y'all this evening?
Great.
Doing good, Jane, and we're certainly glad to hear from you tonight. What's your question for Robert and for Bob?
Hey, I have 2 separate questions, all related to bankruptcy. Okay, on the first question is, if you live like in another county, such as Montgomery County or something, are you allowed to file up here in Tuscaloosa County, get your lawyer up here for bankruptcy? That's my first question. My second question is, if you owe X amount of dollars, like on medical bills and credit card bills, and you are, making house payments and stuff, and all you have is SSI or Social Security, do you still have to put the house in bankruptcy court, or just only your medical bills and credit card bills?
All right, thank you, Jane. What do you tell Jane?
Yeah. As far as the question on filing, whether it be in Montgomery or here, you can file it here. It's probably better to file it in Montgomery if you're in that Montgomery area, just because of the travel. You're going to have to attend a hearing, at least one hearing, that's called a 341 meeting of creditors. As far as putting what you can put in and what you can't, Jane, I think the main thing you need to think about is what kind of bankruptcy are you going to file. There are 2 different consumer bankruptcy chapters. One is Chapter 7 and one is Chapter 13. 13 is where you're paying the debt back over a period of time. And so depending on which chapter you're going to file, and that's going to depend on your personal circumstances, there's not a one-size-that-fits-all in that kind of situation.
All right. Next up is Ryan calling us from Northport. Hi, Ryan. You are on the air.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Ryan.
I got to kind of explain this to you. I was in bankruptcy last year, and there were some mortgage payments for my house that was in there, and the bank has worked out a thing with us where that we're able to get that out of bankruptcy, and we ended up trying to, we got a bankruptcy dismissed, and we was going to refile. And it took the lawyer over 2 weeks to do this, and in the process, I had my truck repossessed. Is there anything I can do about that, or is that just something that happens, or is there something I can do?
Well, unfortunately, if the truck is picked up and you're not under the protection of the bankruptcy code or on the bankruptcy court, then there's not any way that you can get that truck back. And I guess it's really going to depend on why there was that delay, but a lot of times that's not an unusual period of time to be in and out for 2 weeks. So, Ryan, it sounds like that's just an unfortunate situation that has occurred for you, but that's not unusual for it to take 2 weeks to get you refiled.
All right, and we've got a caller waiting on us, but real quickly, Bob, with personal injury situation, I would assume that your clients face some financial troubles when they're going through their case.
They absolutely do, Terry. That's a good point. So many times the breadwinner will be injured in a wreck or